hate to be the person to say I told you so, but ladies and gentlemen, folks, I told you so. Oh my God. All right. First of all, main event for WrestleMania Night 2 was good. Actually, that was fantastic. Was it better than the main event for Night 1? It's a tie. Both main events for Night 1, Night 2 were really, really good. We'll go over the ending for Night 2 in the portion of the review. Night 1, folks, in my honest opinion, Night 1 was better than Night 2. That's just me. That's just me. Night 1 had the better wrestling than Night 2. And me, and as much as other people would like to say Night 2 had the better card than Night 1, Night 1 had the more in-ring than Night 2. The only thing that was so good about Night 2, outside of Riddle and Sheamus for the U.S. title, and Rhea and Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship, nothing else really happened on the show. Of course, outside of the triple threat as well. Nothing really happened here on Night 2. And I said this on Twitter, Bayley should have gotten a WrestleMania match. I don't give a fuck what anybody else say. Bayley should have gotten a WrestleMania match. It was actually fucking criminal. The fact that Bayley did not have a match at WrestleMania. I have no words. Besides of the triple threat for WrestleMania, the U.S. Championship match, and Asuka versus Ripley, nothing else really happened on the show. Which is what I'm going to say here. Night 1 was better than Night 2. That's just my honest opinion here. Night 2 had the worst opening match in WrestleMania history. Who the fuck said Wyatt and Orton to kick off the show? I have no idea what else to tell you folks. Night 1, in my opinion, was better than Night 2. That's it. We'll go over everything on the WrestleMania card tonight for Night 2, as WrestleMania 37 is officially in the books. Thank God. Finally. Thank fucking Christ. If you guys don't know who I am Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys thought that Night 1 was better than Night 2, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show, your thoughts of the main event for Night 2, and what I thought was a fantastic matchup to end WrestleMania. And if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. WrestleMania Night 1 review is live on the channel right now as we speak. Bianca Belair wins the SmackDown Women's title last night in what I thought was a fantastic main event for Night 1, but the outcome was not that good in my honest opinion. But WrestleMania Night 1 review is live on the channel right now. Link to that video will be down below in the description, as well as in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen, as well as SmackDown review. Both nights of NXT TakeOver, both Night 1 and Night 2, live on the channel right now, as well as Raw review from this past Monday. Link to all these videos will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen, as well as down below in the description. Make sure you guys are following me on social media. Twitter at GoodVibesChris with an _. Instagram at GoodVibesChris183. And TikTok, if you guys want to follow me on TikTok, TikTok at DaddyChris183. Social media is in the description as well down below as well. WrestleMania Night 2 tonight kicked off with country music star Ashlyn Kraft in the ring to sing America the Beautiful. WrestleMania 37 opens with the same video package as last night. Same old, same old. The host of WrestleMania, Tyson O'Neil and Hulk Hogan, came out wearing pirate outfits. Didn't look that bad, to be honest with you. Didn't really look that bad. A little ridiculous, but not that bad. Titus says they look damn good, and Hogan says it's a little hot inside the suit. I heard it was type humid in Tampa. Had a couple of friends over there at Raymond James Stadium tell me that it was kind of humid over there at Raymond James Stadium. Titus says there's 7 matches tonight. 5 of those are championship matches. So they better batten down the hatches. They joke around and the fans boo Hogan quite a bit. I wonder why. It's time for the first match of the night. Randy Orton, the Apex Predator, coming on down to the ring in all white with red lettering on his trunks. On his way to the ring, Randy mocks Mandy Rose, pretending to slip. Kind of funny there. For the Fiend's entrance, he's shown walking through a fiery corridor, and it looks like he's burns all over. So let me get this straight. And I said this on Twitter. Earlier. So the Fiend was burned back in December at TLC, right? He's out of TV for 4 months. Comes back at Fastlane under the ring with a burnt presentation. Then at WrestleMania, he's back to his regular Fiend ring attire, as we first saw him at SummerSlam 2019 against Finn Balor. So you mean to tell me, folks, that maybe 3rd-degree burns come back like this recovery quick in 4 months? Are you fucking kidding me? Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Continuity, folks. Continuity. You have the Fiend show up at Fastlane in this burnt as it is. Burnt to a fucking crisp. With the mask and the outfit and everything else. He shows up on Monday Night Raw with the same outfit. Then at WrestleMania, boom. Back to regular Fiend. Huh? Where's the continuity here, folks? Nowhere to be found here. So then he's back as the original Fiend with no burns. As if 3rd-degree burns is going to take 4 months to heal. Alexa comes out first. There's a giant Jack in the Box outside the ring. Alexa turns the handle until the lid pops up and then the Fiend rises up out. Kind of nice there. Nice little touch there. My boy Alex was telling me there was a there was a Luke Harper tribute during the Fiend's entrance. I didn't see it at all. I didn't see it whatsoever. As a matter of fact, let me go back to the group chat and see what they said. And let me see what they said about that, because in my honest opinion, I did not catch that. So let me go back to the group chat for a second, folks, and let me see if anything, what they said about that, because I didn't see anything at all when it comes to that. That's just me. What was the Harper? What was it? For those who missed it, was the arms outstretched pose as he shouted, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I guess that's what the tribute was. I guess. I didn't really see it, but it is what it is. But if Wyatt did do it, that was a nice touch for the late, great Luke Harper. God rest his soul. So we get Randy Orton versus The Fiend with Alexa Bliss at ringside to kick off WrestleMania Night 2. Folks, remember when Wyatt and Orton fought at WrestleMania 33 for the WWE Championship? Remember that matchup at WrestleMania? In my opinion, one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. One of the worst World Championship matches at WrestleMania of all time. I didn't think that Orton and Wyatt would top this. Would top that matchup. Folks, they topped what they did at 33 tonight. This matchup was fucking horrible. I said it on Twitter. The worst opening match to a WrestleMania of all time. The feud was fucking terrible. Terrible. The matchup is just as bad, if not worse, than the build itself. How is that possible? This matchup was short, as it should be short. Orton struggles his way to the ring to break free. The Fiend gets on the apron and Randy hits a draping DDT. But again, the Fiend pops up. Orton throws Wyatt into the ring box. Then hits another draping DDT. The Fiend slowly rises and Orton unleashes some right hands, but he doesn't sell them. Wyatt hits a clothesline, then a body attack to put Randy Orton down. Orton sidesteps the Fiend, sends him out of the ring. Wyatt gets on the apron, but Orton kicks him a few times and hits a third draping DDT. This is what the fuck moment of the night, for me at least. Orton wants an RKO, but the Fiend grabs him with the mandible claw. Again, the Fiend grabs Orton for Sister Abigail, but suddenly fire erupts from the ring post like Kane, and he stops. The camera turns to Alexa Bliss and is sitting on top of the Jack in the Box in a new outfit, all black, with black goo dripping all over her head. Alexa is reaching towards the Fiend. The Fiend is shocked at this point. The Fiend stares at her and the fans chant, "Holy shit." Orton spins the Fiend around, hits an RKO, hits the 1, 2, 3. What in the fuck was that? After the match, after Orton is gone, the Fiend gets to his feet, stares at Alexa. The lights begin to go out until it's dark. Then they come back up and Bray and Alexa are gone. The fans boo. What the fuck was that? That was my what the fuck moment of the night. So the Fiend loses again to Randy Orton. A lot of people here, including myself, was predicting the fact that the Fiend was going to come back after a 4-month hiatus, was burned to death at this point, comes back in 4 months, all burnt and shit, comes back like the regular Fiend as if nothing happened to him back in December, and he takes an L to Randy Orton. But folks, if you thought that the Fiend is more dead now, you are correct. The Fiend died at Hell in a Cell. No, actually, the Fiend had 1 foot in the grave at Hell in a Cell. He was put in the casket at Saudi Arabia last year against Bill Goldberg. Then he gets even more buried against Orton back at TLC. They put the coffin in the grave, and now at WrestleMania, they put the dirt all over the grave. There you go. I do not, starting now from this point forward, I will not take the Fiend serious anymore. The Fiend to me now is dead. Dead, 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 dead. Gone. Buried. Buried. I don't want to hear nothing in the comment section. Oh, what does the Fiend do next, Chris? Oh, do you book the Fiend for a World Championship match now on Monday Night Raw? No. The Fiend is dead. Dead. Alexa Bliss, if anything, killed what was remaining of the Fiend. Dead. Gone. I don't want to hear nothing about the Fiend being good anymore. I don't want to hear nothing at all about the Fiend. Gone. The fact that Orton beat the Fiend here really does say a lot. Really does say a lot. Orton didn't even need to win this matchup. Orton already beat the Fiend back at TLC. What does a win over the Fiend do for Orton now? Nothing. Nothing. Why? Because you already beat him at TLC. You burned him to death. You already burned him to death at TLC. What does a win over the Fiend does to you now at WrestleMania? Nothing. Nothing. And with Raw tomorrow night, the Raw after WrestleMania, is it going to be that big now? No. Why? Because I guarantee you Raw tomorrow night is not going to have that much of a fan base tomorrow night on Raw. I guarantee you Raw will be back at the Thunderdome tomorrow with virtual fans back there again. Which I'll speak about in just a second. Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan are standing backstage discussing last night's main event when up walks Eric Bischoff. Before they can say anything, Bayley pops in and says she loves his podcast, but it can be on her show and get a real audience. Why not? To me, that sounds like a splendid idea. Bischoff says he really loved to get Bianca on his show. Bayley says she would be a far better guest because she's a role model. She's my role model. And she's been on both nights of WrestleMania. Bischoff and Hogan pretend they've got somewhere to be and walk away. Then Titus puts on the pirate hat on Bayley and leaves. Now, speaking of fans here, speaking of a live audience here, I mentioned this on Twitter how it felt good to really have fans back at WrestleMania after a year, a month, and a day. Well, 2 days now. Following night 2, it was 2 days. You know, it felt different, but at the same time, it just felt right. You know, to have fans back at WrestleMania for the first time in over a year, it actually felt good. And I said this on Twitter, how Vince should have fans for Raw and SmackDown. He should. I mentioned this on night 1. Back at where I work at Yankee Stadium as a security officer, we have 20% capacity. That's about what? 10, 11,000 fans at Yankee Stadium. They make a lot of noise for that amount of people. I think Vince, from this point forward, I think Vince should have fans for Raw and SmackDown. Not virtual fans. I'm tired of the virtual fans. I'm tired of it. We've already been used to that for the past year, month, and day. Before WrestleMania. I think Vince should go back to having live fans, not only Raw and SmackDown. You can have, you know, like a certain capacity at a certain venue where the Thunderdome is going to be at. You can have a certain capacity, follow protocols, wear masks, social distancing, having pods, stuff like that. That doesn't mean Raw and SmackDown is going to be that much better. It's going to be a little bit more watchable because there's live fans there. I'm sure that the creative shit is still going to suck, but I'd rather have a live crowd than virtual geeks all over again. That's just me. But I did hear that after WrestleMania, Vince is not going to have any fans until SummerSlam. And that's all the way in August. That's all the way in August. I don't know. That's just me. I'd rather have Vince have live crowds every week for Raw and SmackDown. That way, you know, at the same time, the shows would be just that little bit more watchable. Because the fact that there's a live crowd there. I'm tired of the piped-in noises and stuff like that. And the fucking fake chants. I'm tired of it. I'm absolutely tired of it. Women's Tag Team title match. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. One of 5 championship matches on the show tonight. I think night 2 had more championship matches than night 1. If I'm not mistaken. Women's Tag Team title match. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. Going against Natalya and Tamina. Folks, I'm not sick. I don't have a headache or anything. But I gotta be honest with you here. The Women's Tag Team title match was a lot better tonight than Orton and the Fiend. Let that sink in. The Women's Tag Team Championship match was a better match than Orton and the Fiend. Folks, I'm not sick. Again, I'm not sick. I'm actually fine, to be honest with you. That's just me. This matchup was decent. Not bad. Not bad, but Nia and Shayna retained in what I thought was a decent matchup here. Decent. Both Tamina and Natty got a lot of this shit in. I love watching Natty, but I don't know why people hate on Natty. Natty is a veteran. But then again, I see why they hate on Natty. I see why. But then again, Natty is a veteran. And you got to respect these veterans here in WWE. So, tag is made to Tamina and Baszler. And Snuka comes in with a full head of steam for some, and hits some lariats, a crossbody, and a dragon screw. Tamina kicks Nia, or Shayna, back and knocks Jax off the apron. Baszler grabs her for a coulda-fuda clutch, but Tamina powers out, hits a Samoan drop for a near fall. I thought they was going to top right there with the Samoan drop. Tamina goes up top for the splash, but Shayna hits her, then tags Nia. Jax goes up top, grabs Tamina, but Natty runs in, helps her down, but Shayna then jumps onto both of them for a crossbody for a near fall. We're down to Nia and Tamina, and Jax talks a lot of trash to Tamina, including swearing. Yes, Nia was talking shit to Tamina, and they didn't bleep out nothing, which I loved. Tamina punches her and body slams her for a near fall. Very good spot there, I'm not gonna lie to you there. Tamina goes on top, looking for a superfly splash, but nobody's home. Natalya tags in, so does Shayna, but Natty knocks her off the apron, so Natty doesn't know that Shayna is the legal woman. Frank! Natty drops Nia and locks in the sharpshooter, but Baszler grabs her from behind, hits the Kuda for the clutch, and Natalya. Did she tap out? I mean, she faded. She didn't tap out. She faded. My notes says she passed. She tapped out. No, she faded. Shayna and Nia retain the women's tag team titles in what I thought was a pretty decent matchup. Decent. At best. Decent. I'm not going to say it was great. It was decent. Decent, I guess. I don't know why Tamina and Natalya won the tag team turmoil match last night. There should have been Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan last night, but, you know, it is what it is. Sami Zayn comes to the ring and introduces his special guest, Logan Paul. I fucking hate Logan Paul. Logan Paul looks like the dude that says that wrestling is fake. He looks like that type of dude. Well, guess what, Logan Paul? Tell that to Bad Bunny last night at WrestleMania. Bad Bunny had a better performance at WrestleMania than Logan Paul did. And we'll talk about Logan Paul in a second here as soon as the match is over. Fucking awful was that spot in the end of that matchup. Horrible. Fucking awful. The fans boo, as they should. But Sami says Logan is the only ally he has had in the making of his massive expose. We get a match between Sami Zayn against Kevin Owens. The match was good. Good matchup here. Kevin Owens made his entrance. He looked fucking hyped. He was hyped as fuck because fans are back in attendance. I said this on Twitter, man. Live fans make a big difference in these shows. Whether if the show is good or bad. I want to see live fans back for Raw and SmackDown. Please. They make a big difference, folks, when it comes to the superstars and their performances. This match was good for what it was. I love this matchup. This matchup was great. This match was better than the other two matches that kicked off the show. This match was good. Owens and Zayn was better than the women's tag team title match. Better. For the amount of time that Owens and Zayn got, pretty good. Pretty good matchup here. Owens looked for a stunner, but Sami Zayn spins him around, hits the blue thunder bomb for a near fall. I love that move by fucking Sami Zayn. Hits a picture perfect every single time. Zayn, is my microphone on? Yeah, it's on. Okay. Zayn hits the second exploder into the corner, then hits another one, followed by a brainbuster for a near fall. Sami and KO pummel each other in the corner, and Sami lifts him into the top rope. Owens counters Zayn with a fisherman superplex. Good spot there by KO. Owens drags himself up on the ropes, clothesline Sami into the corner, then again. But Zayn hits a hell of a quick haluva kick out of nowhere. I thought Sami Zayn was going to come out of nowhere and wins this matchup. Owens collapsed into Sami's arms in a callback to NXT TakeOver Battleground in 2016. Sami puts him in the corner, lines up a second haluva kick, but Owens catches him with a super kick. Owens hits the second super kick, then tells Sami he did this himself before hitting a stunner for the win. Good matchup here. KO wins here. But what happened after the match completely pissed me off. Yeah, sure, I saw it coming. But at the same time, the way Logan Paul took that move was fucking awful. After the match, Logan Paul gives him a standing ovation. He comes into the ring to check on Sami. Logan then congratulates Kevin Owens on the win. Then Sami gets angry, shoves him. Zayn shouts at Owens, conspired with the referees to get his win. Logan shoves him down, and Zayn rolls from the ring and leaves, Paul grabs KO's arm and raises it in the air, but Owens doesn't like it. And from there, I already saw it coming. Owens started laughing, and the fans want a stunner. From there, I just felt it coming at this point. So Owens gives Logan Paul a stunner, and the way Logan Paul took that stunner was fucking ridiculous. I said this in the beginning of this matchup. Logan Paul looks like the type of dude that says wrestling is fake. Logan Paul looks like that type of guy that would say something like that and mean it too at the same time. I never liked Logan Paul. I don't like him whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I hate him. Despise him, but you know, he's got 23 point something million subscribers on YouTube. Do I care? I don't give a shit. Never cared about Logan Paul. Never will. But the way Logan Paul took the stunner was fucking ridiculous. I was ashamed of that. I mean, why would you even put Logan Paul into the show to begin with? Why? It would have been better off if Logan Paul wasn't even on the show. Yeah, sure. You put him on SmackDown on Friday night. Sure. Didn't care about that. Didn't care. Why was Logan Paul even in this show to begin with? Why? Why? For what? Why? For all the social media retention and shit? For what? For what? Who gives a shit about Logan Paul? Who cares? So Owens gives them what they want. They gave Logan Paul. Well, he gave Logan Paul a stunner. So Matt Riddle is wheeled around backstage with a scooter when he sees the Great Khali and stops. Riddle is amazed by the size of Khali, 7'3", and asks how he finds clothes to fit. Riddle says he should open a shop that sells giant clothes, giant jewelry, and giant scooters. The only thing I would cop out of that store is a giant scooter, if you ask me. Khali just stares at him, and Riddle says they need a translator. RVD appears, crowd got a big pop out of that, and says he's got this. He says in order for them to corner the market, they need some branding, and he hands Riddle his RVD branded weed rollers so he can smoke the magic pipe. I think they're just using RVD and Riddle so they can laugh at Riddle, not with him. We got a U.S. title match. Riddle defends against Sheamus. Love Sheamus. This matchup was hard-hitting. I will tell you this that much. This matchup was hard fucking hitting. Great matchup here. And what I thought was the match of the night so far. The U.S. title match was the match of the night for me for night 2. Best matchup so far of the show. I think Sheamus did a little box here. I think Sheamus was going to do the what was it? Sheamus was going to do the white noise from the top rope. But because of his balance and shit, he fell. He tried to go all the way to the top rope while carrying Riddle, but his balance overtook him, overpowered him, and he ended up falling down from the ring. So, a little box here and there, but, you know, Sheamus is a professional, and I love Sheamus for that. Riddle knocks Sheamus to the apron, goes after him. Riddle shoves Sheamus into the ring post and suplexes him on the apron. Riddle hits a springboard corkscrew to Sheamus on the floor, then puts him back in for a brawl time for near fall. Riddle applies the reverse armbar. Sheamus escapes and clobbers Riddle, then puts him on the shoulders and takes him to the ropes. Riddle escapes, climbs up with Sheamus, but gets grabbed. Sheamus attempts an Irish curse backbreaker from the top rope, but they fall off, and he hits a regular one. Sheamus goes up top, hits a flying knee for a near fall. Sheamus goes to the corner and beats his chest. Looks for the brogue kick, but Riddle rolls him up for a 2 count. Riddle attempts a springboard moonsault, and I love this spot. So, Sheamus looks for the brogue kick, but Riddle rolls him up for a 2 count. Riddle attempts a springboard moonsault, but Sheamus absolutely clocks him in the fucking mouth with a brogue kick from midair. Riddle's upside down doing a springboard moonsault, and Sheamus out of nowhere just fucking clacks him with his boot to his mouth with the bro kick. Sheamus pins Riddle, wins the United States Championship in what I thought was a fantastic match, and so far, the match of the night for night 2. After the matchup, you saw Riddle looking up at Sheamus, and Riddle is bleeding in his mouth. So that was the battle scars from there. So after that, matchup was good for what it was. Sheamus wins the U.S. title in what I thought was a very good match. So far, the match tonight for me until the main event happened. What does Riddle do from here? What does Matt Riddle do from here? Now, I can see Matt Riddle going after Bobby Lashley in a, in a one-off, possibly in a one-off for the championship, because Riddle did take the U.S. championship from Lashley, but Lashley wasn't pinned. So they can play it up based on that. Possibly, we don't know. We'll find out on Raw tomorrow night on the Raw after WrestleMania. Had people in the WrestleMania season group chat that I was in, and they tell me, well, I think it was Alex that told me, oh, Keith Lee should come back and beat Sheamus for the U.S. title. Sheamus just won the U.S. title, and you're already there? Booking him to lose the championship already? Where is this? Why are we already booking Sheamus to lose the U.S. championship? He just won the title. Give Sheamus a decent title reign. Sheamus is great in the ring. Sheamus has been taking loss after loss after loss after loss after loss during this entire WrestleMania season build. During this entire road to WrestleMania, Sheamus has been taking L after L after L after L after L. Sheamus needed to win this matchup. Good thing he won it, but he needed to win this match. And people are already telling me, oh, that Keith Lee should come back on Raw and beat Sheamus for the U.S. title? Why? If anything, and I don't give a fuck who's watching, Sheamus is great. But in my honest opinion, and I don't give a fuck who's watching, Keith Lee, folks, is buried on the main roster. Absolutely buried. They already fucked up Keith Lee within the first few weeks of his call-up. They fucked him up already. You think that Keith Lee is going to come out of the ashes and just come back and just be built differently? No. No. If anything, this is what I'm doing with fucking Keith Lee. Karrion Kross needs opponents for fucking NXT. For the NXT Championship. He needs opponents. Because who, outside of fucking Walter, has a legit shot at beating Kross for that championship? Keith Lee can simply go back to NXT, get his rematch against fucking Karrion Kross, which he's not the fucking champion. I would give Keith Lee a good shot at possibly beating Kross for the NXT Championship. And I say possibly. Because outside of Walter, another guy that I can possibly think of that can beat Kross is Keith Lee. Now, granted, they fought back at NXT TakeOver 30, and that's when Kross won the title for the first time. But you're not going to get a complaint out of me to send Keith Lee back over to NXT and have him face Kross for the NXT Championship. Take my money, as a matter of fact. A rematch? Take my money. But for you people to sit there and tell me, oh, Keith Lee should come back and shit and go after Sheamus and win the U.S. title. No! No! Keith Lee is dead and buried on the main roster. Buried! Buried. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't give a fuck. Keith Lee, in my opinion, should go back down to NXT. Should go back to the NXT. That's just me. Sheamus wins the U.S. title in what I thought was a very good matchup. Match of the night for me so far throughout night 2. We get a video package of Triple H on the side of the road holding a yellow case. Bad Bunny walks up and Triple H says he did an amazing job last night, but now it's his time to hand him the case. Bunny takes it, climbs on top of the truck he rode in on last night. He opens the case and Triple H's steam microphone is inside. Bunny will be doing a world tour next year. I think he's doing a tour in New York and New Jersey March 18th and March 19th. I might possibly want to go to that tour. I think March 18th is in Jersey at the Prudential Center, according to what my cousin told me. And then March 19th, he's having a show in Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Well, let's see, depending on how COVID is by next year, but let's see. Let's see. Hopefully by next year, COVID has died down by next year. Let's see. Fingers crossed, please. We have ourselves a Nigerian drum fight with Wyatt performing live as Big E makes his way to the ring. We get Big E versus Apollo Crews in a Nigerian drum fight for the Intercontinental Championship. This is Apollo Crews now, according to what... Let me see this. Give me a second. Give me a good reason here. Well, not a good reason, but give me a second. I saw something about Apollo Crews challenging for the Intercontinental Championship, I think for the 6th time. If I can find it here on the group chat, if I can find it here. Okay. I got this for Sharo Sap on Twitter. This was Apollo Crews' 7th Intercontinental title shot since November. So at that time, Apollo is 0-6. 0-6 against whoever the Intercontinental Champion is. Because Big E won the title back in December. I remember, I think it was the Christmas episode of SmackDown, I believe, where Big E won the IC title. Wasn't that the last SmackDown of the year? I believe so. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was the last SmackDown of the year. If I'm not mistaken here. This match was rushed. It felt rushed in my honest opinion. I mean, how many times have we seen Big E and Apollo fight over the Intercontinental Championship? Now, people are saying, oh, why didn't Apollo get a pop? A, he's a heel, and B, the simple fact that we all expected Apollo to win the IC title here. Big E wasn't going to walk out of Mania as the IC champion. He wasn't. He wasn't. At least in my opinion. Because now that Apollo Crews is now the Intercontinental Champion, now you can focus on Big E and his march, his road towards either the Universal Championship or the WWE Championship, depending on what brand Big E ends up on after the shakeup. Because I did hear, I believe today or yesterday, that there's going to be a superstar shakeup after WrestleMania. So let's see what brand Big E ends up going into after the shakeup. We don't know yet. We don't know. We haven't got any confirmation yet on when that is going to be a shakeup. We don't know when, but I'm assuming it's going to be the week after. But let's see about that. Big E gets Crews back inside after going through the ropes with a spear. Then takes the top off the steel steps, drags the bottom half over the side to the ring. Big E gets on the apron, but Apollo lifts him, hits a Death Valley driver on the apron. Apollo covers Big E in the ring for a 2 count. Apollo grabs the bottom half of the steps, drags him on the apron. He places Big E on top, then stands on the apron with the other half and tries to throw the stairs onto him, but Big E rolls out of the way. Both men get on the apron, and Apollo runs at Big E, but gets caught with a Uranagi onto the steps of the floor. Good spot there by Big E. Big E sits on the steps, shouts at Apollo that he's going to get everything he's asked for. Big E lifts a table and erects it in the ring, but Apollo comes back, smashes him with a kendo stick until it breaks. Apollo lays Big E on the table, goes on top for the frog splash, but Big E's not home. Big E moves out of the way and Crews crashes and burns through the table. Big E lifts Apollo, hits a big ending, but before he can make the pin attempt, he was attacked by Dabba-Kato from Raw Underground. Dabba-Kato, who was in Raw Underground for a while, beats on Big E, hits the Umaga's Samoan Spike. Very good tribute to Umaga. Then a choke slam, and Apollo covers Big E, wins the Intercontinental Championship. And what I thought, the match wasn't bad. They could have fought for at least another 10, 15 minutes. At least another 10 to 15 minutes. At least. Matchup was good for what it was. It felt rushed. But what I do love about this is, A, Apollo finally gets his WrestleMania moment after being in catering since his call-up. B, he wins the Intercontinental Championship, finally over Big E. And C, the fact that Dabba-Kato now is in alliance with Apollo Crews. Is really going to make Apollo Crews heel run that much better, in my honest opinion. So Apollo wins the IC title over Big E in what I thought was a rush matchup, but it was good for what it was. And like I said, they could have fought for at least another 10-15 minutes tops. Would have been a great matchup, but it is what it is. So Apollo Crews wins the Intercontinental Championship. Finally. You know, really good the fact that people are getting, you know, the WrestleMania moment. Like, you know, like Cesaro last night, Apollo Crews tonight, Edge after coming back after 10 years. It's shit. So far, so good. So far, so good. Kevin Owens as well, getting his WrestleMania moment. Good stuff here and there. Good stuff so far in the show. But outside of the opening segment and the second matchup that, you know, outside of the first two matches that kicked off the show, this has been a pretty decent show so far for night 2. Pretty decent so far. We see highlights in the 2021 Hall of Fame ceremony. Monty Holly, RVD, Great Khali, Eric Bischoff, Rich Herning, and Kane stand on the stage. Kane makes Fiery Rough from the pirate ship. Very good sighting there. Ash Colesto of New Year's Day plays with a band to sing Ripley to the ring. Raw Women's Championship match is up next. It's Asuka defending the title against Rhea Ripley. Now, Ripley just got called down to the main roster just a couple of weeks ago. She pointed at the WrestleMania sign, asked for a Raw Women's Championship matchup. Asuka accepts. Now, I don't know how to feel about that decision, but like I said, it is what it is. But this match was pretty good. Not bad for what it was. Pretty good here. Some good action here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some good action here. Nobody thought that this match was gonna be bad. This match was actually good. One of the best women's matchup all night. This was honestly the best women's match all night. Outside of the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Outside of that, this was the best women's match all night. But was this better than Sasha and Bianca? Fuck no. Fuck no. Not even close. Not even close. In my opinion, the match order for night 1 was a whole lot better than the match order for night 2. I would have honestly put the Women's Tag Team Championship match to kick off the show. Then you do Orton and the Fiend. Then you do KO versus Sami. Then the IC title match. Then after that, what match was that after? I'm bugging here. No, this is what I would have done for night 2. I would have put the Women's Tag Team Championship to kick off night 2. So have the Women's Tag Team Championship go up first. Then I would have put Orton and the Fiend second. Then I would have put KO versus Zayn versus Sami Zayn third. Then the US title match fourth. Then Asuka and Rhea. Then the IC title match. Or am I fucking up here? And then the triple threat match for the Universal Championship going up last. I mean, sure, Roman, Edge, and Bryan was going to go last, but I would at least put Sheamus and Riddle at least maybe second to last or third to last. Like, legitimately, like, close to the middle. So that's what I would have done. But the match order for night 1 was a whole lot better than night 2. That's just my opinion, though. But I'm not going to lie to you, night 1 was a thumbs up show. Night 2, we'll talk about the end of night 2 in just a second here. Asuka versus Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship here. Asuka hits a missile dropkick, but both women are down. Asuka hits a German suplex, but Ripley rolls into a corner. Asuka hits a hip attack, then a few big kicks, and then the hip attack for a 2 count. Asuka goes up top, but Asuka drop kicks her off, and she collapses to the floor. Rhea goes outside, and Asuka kicks her from the apron. Then Ripley grabs her in an electric chair, slams her under the apron. Rhea and Asuka get to the apron. Asuka hits the DDT under the floor. Good spot there by Asuka. Back inside the ring, Asuka kicks Ripley Looks for a sliding knee, but Rhea catches the leg. Ripley stomps Asuka over and over again before applying the hanging sharpshooter. But Asuka counters with an armbar. Ripley lifts her off the mat, throws it into the bucket just to break free. Asuka rolls into the apron. And Ripley suplexes her back inside for a near fall. They trade reversals back and forth with Asuka applying some submissions. Asuka kicks Ripley, who holds her hands up and asks for more. Ripley dodges a kick, hits the riptide, pins Asuka, and wins the Raw Women's Championship. Two things that I think will happen. Two things that I think will happen after. It's either Becky comes back, get your championship back, or Charlotte comes back from COVID, or whatever Charlotte's coming back from. Charlotte comes back, beats Rhea, takes the Raw Women's Championship, and then we get Becky and Charlotte in the summer. I don't know. I don't know why Ripley won the Raw Women's Championship. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I don't really care. It's all about what happens after with Ripley. It all comes down to what happens after. But good match here. Not bad for what it was here. Ripley wins the Raw Women's Championship over Asuka in what I thought was a good matchup. Titus O'Neil, Hulk Hogan returned to the stage and thank everyone for coming and watching around the world. Bayley interrupts them, mocks them for thanking everyone. She says they didn't thank her and she asked for pyro and it provided. Good. Give Bayley her WrestleMania moment. Bayley should have been on WrestleMania's card. And I said this last night when I was talking about the main event with Sasha and Bianca, and I'm gonna say it again. I would have had Bayley win the Rumble this year. We get Bayley and Asuka. I keep thinking about Asuka. Bayley and Sasha at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's Championship, because out of the entire fucking history that Sasha and Bayley has, they never fought at WrestleMania. That's what I would have done. But instead, you want to leave Bayley out of WrestleMania, which is a fucking sin. Whoever booked Bayley out of WrestleMania should go to fucking hell. How the fuck do you leave Bayley out of WrestleMania? Not having her compete at WrestleMania. You could have gave me Bayley versus Trish in a one-off. You could have gave me something. Something. Maybe Bayley versus Naomi. Something like that. Or, as a matter of fact, I would have had Bayley host WrestleMania with Titus O'Neil. You take off Hulk Hogan, you insert Bayley to replace Hogan, and you have Titus O'Neil and Bayley as a special guest host for WrestleMania. No, but you want to leave Bayley out of WrestleMania's card. Like a fucking idiot. So fucking stupid. So Bayley gets the pyro up that she wants, that she gets it. Rightfully deserved. Bayley says she has been carrying Titus and Hogan on her back for 2 nights. Ain't that right? So, as well as a bunch of has-been Hall of Famers. In a second, Bayley mentioned Hall of Famers. The Bella Twins come out. Everybody was predicting Becky Lynch was going to come back. No. The minute Bayley said Hall of Famers, I already knew who was coming out. The Bella Twins. In my opinion, the Bella Twins are not Hall of Famers. The only reason why Nikki is even a Hall of Famer is because of John Cena. Sorry, just the truth. So the Bella Twins come out and interrupt Bayley, but she calls them twin idiots. I love that line. I love Bayley. Bayley is my role model. I love Bayley. Bayley says John Cena isn't here tonight. Bayley's a fucking savage. Holy shit. So Bayley says John Cena isn't here tonight, and Nikki slaps the microphone out of her hand. Nikki and Brie beat on Bayley and throw her down the ramp to the boos of the crowd. You should have never brought out the Bella Twins. You should have never brought out the Bella Twins. They pose with Hogan and Titus. And now, folks, we get to the main event of WrestleMania for night 2. Daniel Bryan comes out first, Edge out second, to a massive pop. Daniel Bryan was divided 50-50. Edge had more pops. Roman comes out last wearing a Samoan. If I botched this, I apologize. Roman comes out wearing a Samoan Ulafala. Did I get that right? If I did, good. If I didn't, I'm sorry, I apologize. And takes his sweet time getting to the ring. I love that about Roman, man. You know, taking his time like the fucking cocky prick that he is. This is my main event, folks. Something Roman would say. So we get the triple threat match, the main event WrestleMania. Roman defending against Edge and Bryan. This was WrestleMania main event worthy. I asked Tim in the group chat, did Daniel Bryan ruin the main event for you? And of course you said no, because what? Bryan in the matchup made sense. And I even told him it made sense. Because like I said, since the Rumble, I would have Edge win, Edge facing McIntyre. That would have possibly main event in night 1. And then you get Roman and Bryan for WrestleMania because Bryan wins the chamber. You get Bryan and Reigns at WrestleMania. You told that story. You get Edge and McIntyre for the WWE Championship. There you go. There you go. So, a little fun fact here. And I love fun and I love fun facts here. 10 years ago, this is where I am still recording this as of April 12th, 2021 at 12:37 a.m. But going into night 2 of WrestleMania, which was April 11th, 10 years ago, to the very day, Edge had to retire and relinquish the World Heavyweight Championship because of doctors forcing him to retire. 9 years later, he comes back at the Rumble. Nobody ever thought that Edge would come back, especially after the injury that he went through with his neck. There were some paralysis, and he could have died if he would have kept on wrestling with that neck condition. He could have died. Or he could have been paralyzed from the neck down, ending his career. So the doctors told Edge to retire. 9 years later, he comes back at the Rumble in Houston in what I thought was one of the greatest moments of all time, in my honest opinion. Edge comes back again a year later after coming back from a torn tricep injury that he suffered at Backlash against Orton. Comes back in January, wins the Rumble, coming in at number 1. Wins the Rumble, picks Roman for WrestleMania, then Bryan gets involved, making it a triple threat. I like it. I love it. This matchup was fucking awesome. This main event was fucking awesome. I loved every single minute of this match. Loved it. Loved it. We'll talk about it here right now. So, a leg of the steel chair had been broken off, and Edge grabs it, sticks it in the Roman's mouth in a crossface with the piece of the metal broken chair on Roman's mouth. Roman looks like he's about to tap, but Bryan jumps in and grabs his hand to prevent Roman from tapping out. Edge tells Bryan to let go. Bryan then applies the yes lock to Roman Reigns' right arm, while Edge still has him in the crossface in Reigns' left arm. So Bryan and Edge try to submit Roman, but start headbutting each other. Bryan grabs Edge's arms and stomps his face over and over, then heads to the corner and does a slow yes chant. Bryan runs for the flying knee, but Edge hits a spear. Roman looks for a Superman punch, but Edge ducks it, hits the ropes, connects with a big spear to Roman. Edge covers, but Bryan pulls the referee out of the ring. I thought at that point Edge was going to pin Roman, and I would have had the biggest heart attack ever sitting on this chair. Edge is furious. He goes outside and gets a chair, hits Bryan in the back, then puts Bryan in the ring, brings chairs with him. Edge beats Reigns and Bryan with a chair over and over and over and over and over and over. Edge puts Bryan's head on a steel chair, grabs the other chair, then puts it on the Roman's head. Edge grabs a third chair, hits Bryan with a concerto. Folks, you heard me right. Edge grabs a third chair, hits Daniel Bryan in the skull with a concerto. Was this even approved by Vince McMahon? Was this even approved? If this wasn't approved, holy shit. But most likely, it was approved. Then looks to hit Roman, but Jey Uso reappears and beats on Edge. Jey looks to grab the chair, but Edge spears him. Edge gets a chair, beats Jey with it over and over until Roman hits him with a spear. Roman puts Edge's head on the chair, then smashes Edge's head with the concerto as well. Roman drags Edge's limp body, puts him on top of Daniel Bryan, and what I love about this attention to detail, Edge was covering Bryan. Edge, his shoulders are down. Bryan's shoulders are down as well. So basically, Edge's back is basically touching Bryan's chest. Roman covers both men. Roman covers both Edge and Daniel Bryan and retains the Universal Championship in what I thought was a fucking fantastic main event. This, folks, was the match of the night. Outside of Riddle and Sheamus, this matchup was the match of the night. This match was fucking awesome. I gotta ask you people this question. What did you expect? Did you people sat there and expect Reigns to lose the championship when he's literally the biggest thing right now in this company? Reigns is carrying this company right now on his fucking fist. Roman is carrying this company on his back. It's just that simple. If you're the best right now in your brand, you should be champion. Coming into this matchup, I had a funny feeling that Roman was not going to get pinned, yet loses the championship. I'm glad that they went with Roman retaining the Universal Championship. I'm happy about that. Now, I remember in the very beginning when Roman, was, being shoved down our throats and shit, I used to fucking hate the living shit out of Roman Reigns. People would tell me, oh, Roman's the greatest of all time. Oh, Roman is the best guy right now in this company. He was a fucking babyface. No. Roman back then was being shoved down our fucking throats. I will never forget that. Reigns main event in 31, 32, 33, and 34. 4 straight main events. 4 straight main events. And what was Roman in that record of main eventing 4 straight WrestleManias? 2-2. He got pinned by Rollins at 31. He beat Triple H in 32. He pins Taker in 33, but loses to Brock in 34. This is the first time that Roman is coming into WrestleMania as world champion. And now he gets to walk out as world champion. Good. Good. I never thought Roman was going to lose the championship. He wasn't going to, in my opinion. He was going to retain. I picked Reigns to retain. And guess what, folks? Reigns retained. Say, I told you so, folks. But I told you so. Reigns wins. Lifts the championship on his head. Fireworks and pyro goes over the fucking building. Show goes off the air. And I had somebody on Twitter tell me, oh, what if Rollins comes out and attacks Reigns after the matchup if he wins? No. Why would you have Rollins come out and attack Reigns? For what? Rollins is the heel. Why would you have a heel attack another heel in Reigns? I don't get that. Show goes off the air, folks. Night 2 of WrestleMania is officially in the books. Now, I know you guys are going to ask me, Chris, what were your thoughts of Night 2? Night 2 was a pretty decent show. If you take off Orton and the Fiend and the Women's Tag Team Championship match and you take off Logan Paul off the show, this would have been a good show. This would have been, don't get me wrong, this is a thumbs up show. But Night 1 had the better match order than Night 2. That's just me. Night 1 I thought was a really good show. Both shows were thumbs up. But if I had to pick a show that was better than the other, I would have to pick Night 1 being better than Night 2. But I hope now, starting now, this point forward, I hope, and can I only hope and pray, that WrestleMania goes back to 2 nights. Now Vince knows the 2-night method for WrestleMania. I think Vince is going to do that for next year as we head back to Arlington, Texas next year at AT&T Stadium for WrestleMania next year. That is it, guys, for the WrestleMania 37 Night 2 review for your Sunday, April 11th, 2021. If you guys enjoyed the review, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below your thoughts of the show. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on bell, guys, for all notifications. Night 1 WrestleMania 37 review live on the channel right now, as well as SmackDown, both Night 1 and Night 2 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver, and as well as Monday Night Raw review. Link to all these videos will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper hand corner of your screen, as well as down below in the description. Make sure you guys are following me on social media: Twitter at GoodVibesChris_, Instagram at GoodVibesChris183, and TikTok. Follow me on TikTok at DaddyChris183. I will see you guys tomorrow for Monday Night Raw review. The Raw after WrestleMania, I don't know what to expect for the Raw after WrestleMania, but I think it's not going to be that good because, simple fact, there's no live crowd. Because World Wrestling Entertainment is going back to the Thunderdome setting tomorrow at a different venue because they had to move out of Tropicana Field because of the Tampa Bay Rays season that already started at home. So they have a different location now for the Thunderdome. Until then, guys, I am Chris. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video all over social media. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a Raw review. Till then, guys, I am Chris. Have a good night. Talk to you later.